Very good evening, all of you. Let's start. Now, continuing with yesterday's discussion, right? Yesterday we started with this topic declaring and initializing variable, right? Quick recap we'll take. I told you about that Java is a strict type language, and as it's a strict type language, you cannot use any variable without its prior declaration, right, guys? So if you want to use any variable in the code, prior you have to declare it, and unless and until you declare it, you cannot use it, right? Then declaring means what? Declaring means giving a prior information to the compiler. What is the name of your variable? What is its data type? And some optional initial value. Initial value is not compulsory. If you want, you can give. If you don't want, don't give it. But prior informing to the compiler what the data type is, what the name of the variable is, and the optional initial value. That activity is called as declaring, right? Because once you declare it, at runtime, that much amount of memory will be reserved depending on its data type. Whatever the data type is, that much amount of memory is reserved, right? ठीक है, तो variable declaration are used to specify what the type of that variable is and the name of the variable. By what name you are going to recognize it, so that meaningful name you'll give, it should be a valid Java identifier. It should follow the identifier naming rule and the data type. So if you give the data type, so that much amount of memory will be reserved during execution. Getting? This implicitly determines how much amount of memory will be reserved. Getting? Determines their memory allocation and the values that can be stored in them. Like if it is integer, so we come to know that we can store whole numbers. If it's float, then we can store scientific values. Okay, so depending on their data type, we come to know the memory, how much is reserved, and what type of value you can store in it. Get it? Then in yesterday's session, we discussed all this thing. I have not written all the things in detail on the slide, only the highlights I have written. So in yesterday's session, we have studied about how to declare and initialize variable. Yes or no, guys? I've given you the general syntax. If you want, just quickly I'll recall that syntax. I told you we can use modifiers, then access specifiers, right? Public, private, protected, then data type, then the name of the variable, and then optional initial value. And if you want variables of the same type, more than one of the same type, then comma, and you can give more list and end with a semicolon. Correct? So modifiers are generally like static, then final. Specifiers are like public, private, protected, that you know. The data type, the name, and the optional initial value. Agreed? I hope that is clear to you. Then about object reference variable also I told you. Right, guys? Like in Java, whenever you create a variable of any class, the actual copy is not created. Only what is created? Tell me if I write cat C. So according to Java, C is an object, but yet the instance is created. So this is called as object reference variable. See, object reference variable. So C is an object according to Java, but every object is a reference variable. Getting? So yet the copy of cat class is created. Is yet memory for cat object allocated? Yes or no, guys? Or only the reference variable is created?
Reference variable is created.
Getting? It is called as object declaration. Okay? Only reference variable is created. And you know that unless and until you use new operator, memory won't be allocated for that object. Getting? Means when the object is actually created in Java, when you write new, then give the class name and then round bracket. That round bracket is also having a meaning because here some magic method is going to get called, and the name of that magic method is called as a constructor. Now what is constructor? We'll learn it gradually in the coming sessions. Now just remember, here one constructor is called, implicitly one method is called. So actually here now the instance is created. Getting? Instance means only instance object. Clear? Right. Instance means only object. Instance means only copy. So is the copy of this design created? Is cat a design? Getting? When I taught you about object oriented programming concepts, that time I told you class acts like a design, class acts like a blueprint, class acts like a mold, class acts like a template, and objects are copies of that template. Objects are production of that design. Getting? So now actually how much memory is needed for that cat, that much is allocated, and the reference come in C. Correct? To show you pictorially, you can say like that. This is your stack part. Okay. And this is the hip part. Okay. Now when we declared that object, only object declaration has happened. Only reference variable is created. So can I say here only the variable C has been created, no reference has come. But when I say C equal to new cat, so will this new allocate memory as much is needed for one cat object? Getting? So memory needed for cat object means memory needed for its data. Like if it's having data like height, then weight, then color, then breed, whatever. These are all the properties of that cat. They are called as instance data, the characteristics of that cat. So as much memory is needed for height, for weight, for color, for breed is allocated, one constructor is called, and then the reference of that object is returned, and which is collected in the C variable. You got it? You understanding or no? So that is the concept called as object reference variable. Okay. Then about lifetime of the variable. Did I tell you about that too yesterday? If you remember, just recall. Lifetime of a variable, meaning the scope of the variable. Getting? The scope means the part of the code where the use of that variable is allowed, or the use of the variable is legal. The section of code or the part of code in which the use of that variable is legal, or the use of the variable is allowed. And from that section means before that section, after that section, if I cannot use, means the variable is not within the scope. Means suppose in this section I am allowed to use it. Before this I was not allowed, after this I was not allowed. So obviously it is out of the scope. Getting? Before it was not existing, after it is died. So it is only existing between this section. So that is its lifetime. That is its scope. Okay. Now, can you tell me what all the lifetimes were there? 3 I told you. And based on that, I told that all 3 are differentiated. I told you when they are created, when they are destroyed, and where they get the space. Right or no? So in that three types of variables I told. Do you remember that?
Yes, yes, static,
Yes, static,
local, and
local, and
instance.
instance. Clear? I've told you all this yesterday. Correct? So 3 types come into that category. And for all 3, is the syntax of declaration same or different? Is the syntax going to change? Let it be instance, let it be static, let it be local. All will have same syntax. Understanding, guys? The syntax is going to be same. Let it be local, let it be static, and let it be instance. Okay, only some changes I told you, like if it is local then we cannot have this access specifier, then if it is local then only final can be used, static cannot be used. That conditions I told you, but the syntax is same. Getting? One was instance, another was static, and third was local. And all three I have told you, all three explanation I have given you, right? For all three, on what basis they are differentiated? All the three are characterized on the basis of when created, when destroyed, and where they get space. Where they are going to get the space, when they are created and when they are destroyed. Agreed? Okay, so in that I told you instance variable, static variable, local variable. Okay, quickly we'll just recall. Tell me about local variables. Anyone can tell me when they are created, when they are destroyed, and where they get the space. Quickly reply. When are local variables created, when are local variables destroyed, and where they get their space? I told you relate it with the real life. When born, when died, and where they are enjoying their life. Where they are enjoying their life, whether in India, whether in Pimpri Chinchwad, whether in US, UK, where, and where, when they are born and when they are died. Getting? So local variables, can anyone quickly reply?
They are created when there is an entry of function.
Yes, when the function is called. Function means method. Make habit, like in Java, instead of using word function, we call it as method. But right, when there is an entry to the function, and when the function to the entry is done, when the function is called. Getting? So they are created at the entry of the function. Right. Then continue.
They get destroyed at the exit of function.
They destroy when the function exited. Exit means when the function is over. So they are destroyed. And where they get the space?
On stack.
On stack. Right, guys? Now, can anyone tell me about static? When statics are created, when statics are destroyed. Okay? When statics are created, when static are destroyed, and where they get the space. Someone else. Everyone, those who are attending every day means you are sincerely, you are understanding everything, and then sincerely you are coming every day. Clear? That means you should answer me. Clear? Who will answer? Many are there. Harish is regular one, Rutuja is regular, Abhishek is regular, Sanket is also regular, Shreya is regular. Tell me.
Static is created immediately after code is loaded.
Right?
And it ends till code doesn't get destroyed.
Yes.
And it got space on data section.
Right. Very good. Clear? She has told it properly. Statics, they get space on the data section. And the data section is immediately after code section. Therefore, some books say that static get memory along with the code. Along with the code. Okay. And when your code is loaded, immediately after that static get memory. And they are destroyed when your code is destroyed. So very big life who enjoy static. Agreed. And what about instance variables? This example which I showed you here in a diagram way, like height, weight, color, breed of that cat. So these are all instance variables of that cat. Getting? So when instance get memory, when they are destroyed on
Heap.
They get memory on heap, but when they get memory and when they are destroyed,
They are created when the object is there, and they get destroyed when reference is lost.
when the reference is lost, they are destroyed. And when you create object, and how do we create object in Java? In Java, new. Without new, object won't get created in Java. Always remember. In Java, you cannot create object without new. So when you'll use that new operator, object is created. Getting? When the reference is lost, the object is destroyed, and they get space on the heap. Right, guys? I hope you are understanding it. Correct? So you can say instance memory is in our control, programmer control, whereas local is automatic because it happens at entry, it exits, it is destroyed at exit. Okay? This is clear to you. Now talking about some more thing, continuing with that discussion, default values. Okay, now what I want to tell you is that when you create all these three types of variable, but you don't give any initial value to it. I'm going to give a demonstration also of it. Like I have created a class test. Here I have created one integer variable, which is instance, static variable, which is integer static variable. This is instance variable, and another public void, public static void main, and inside this I have created one local variable. Now I hope you are able to identify who is instance in this case.
int
I is instance because word static is not there, na? So obviously it is instance because it is declared in the class body, outside method, inside class body. J is
static,
obviously because word static, and K is
local.
local. But to all three, have you given any initial value? Any initial value to all three?
No.
No. Clear? What now Java says, if you don't give initial value, they will have some default value. Getting? So now first remember, if it is instance or static, instance and static get default value if they are not explicitly initialized. Getting? What I'm saying is, if they are not explicitly in it, means we have not initialized it, okay, they will always get default value. Who? Instance and static. I haven't talked about local. Understand carefully. Instance and static will always get default value. Okay, now what default values, that I'll tell you, right? If it is in integral category, like if it is byte variable or short variable or int variable, then the default is 0. Okay, and if it is long, then it is 0L. Okay, I'm giving the table, don't worry, right? Then for float and double, the default is 0.0F, 0.0D. Okay? If it is character, the default is \U 0000, Unicode 0, which is treated as null value. Okay? If it is reference, okay, it is empty, sorry, if it is reference, it is null. Very sorry for that. If it is reference, it is null value, null. To reference means you got no object, which is not yet instantiated. Means here if I write pizza P, is just P a reference variable? Yet the instance of pizza class created?
No.
Copy is not yet created, only reference variable is created. Means key holder you have created, yet the key is not put in it. Getting? Unless and until I write P equal to new pizza, round bracket, pizza instance won't get created. Okay? Means the memory for pizza data member, like pizza data, the radius, the thickness, the topping type, then whether it is veg or non-veg, whatever it can be. Clear? So that property memory is not yet allocated. Only the reference variable is created. Getting? So what will this P have? Default? Default. It's not initialized na, yet. So what will be the default value of it? Null. Because it comes in reference category. Agreed? ठीक है, and if it is boolean then the default is false. Okay, so what you'll remember, all these will have 0 or 0l, float double will have 0.0 this, character will have this, reference will have this, boolean will have this. Getting? But this is applicable only for instance and statics. Getting, guys? And if it is a local variable and it is not initialized explicitly, it will remain uninitialized. Clear? Local variables, if not explicitly initialized, then they remain uninitialized. Clear? Uninitialized meaning as good as like in C or C++, garbage. But Java doesn't use the word garbage. Getting? Java literature doesn't use word garbage. Instead, it uses word uninitialized. So always remember, who will not get default value if they are not explicitly initialized? Explicitly, if you don't give any initial value, then who will not be initialized? Local variables. The local variable, if you are not explicitly initializing, getting, then what will they have? Will they have default value or they will remain uninitialized only? They will remain uninitialized. Getting or no? But instance and static, if they are not explicitly initialized, will they remain uninitialized or will they get default value? They will get default value. This you should remember properly. Clear? Getting? I'm coming to all these examples, all illustrations I'll show you. But the point is clear to you guys? Yes or no? Just at least give me confirmation. At least you should give confirmation.
Yes, sir.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just excuse me. Okay. Okay. Sorry for interruption. Let's continue. So the default value concept is clear. I'll just quickly show you one simple example. You'll come to know with that. See, I'm giving the program name as default value dot java. ठीक है, class default value, right? Now here I'm creating some static variables. First I'll do static, then I'll tell you about instance also. Both will take. I'm not giving any public or private or protected and all. No worries, we'll come to that thing also, what that access specifier means. I'm creating one integer variable. Suppose I'm creating one float variable. I'm creating one character variable. I'm creating one boolean variable. And I'm creating one reference variable. Can I call S as a reference variable? What do you say, guys? Like I did it for cat C, pizza P. So can I say S is a reference variable?
Yes.
Why? Because it's a variable of
String.
class.
Object.
It's a variable of class. String is a class, or is it a primitive data type? Is string, okay, right, class. So is string a primitive data type? Is it from that 8 primitive data types? Boolean, then char, then byte short float, byte short long, int long, float and double. So it is not from that 8 data type. So what Java says, if it is from that 8, then only it is primitive. All other are objects. Objects means reference. ठीक है, तो as it is a variable of a class, and as it's a variable of class, it has to be a reference variable. Always remember, if it is a variable from that 8 primitive data types, if it's a variable of 8 primitive, then it's not reference. Okay, now all these static I have declared. Now public static void main string args, and in this main I want to access them. ठीक है, can I access these statics directly without creating object? Means, am I supposed to create an object to access them, or can I access it directly without creating object? What do you say, guys? If I want to access this I, F, C, B, S, am I supposed to create an object?
No.
No.
Why? Because they are
Static.
Static.
because they are static. So if you remember the rules of static, instance, you know it. So as they all are static, you can directly access them. You don't have to create an object. And I am accessing it in the same class, so I don't have to even write the class name. Suppose if this main is in some other class, like this, class test. Okay? And here, if I want to access these statics of this default value, okay, then I have to write class name dot. But at least class name you have to write like this, default value dot I. You understanding? Why I have to write class name dot? Because you are accessing it in another class. These are present in this class and you are accessing in another. Okay. For that reason I am writing it. But I am accessing directly by class name because they are static. You understanding, guys?
Yes, sir.
As they are static, directly. Now if my main is in same class, if this main is in the same class, I don't even have to write that default value dot. I can directly write only I. Getting? See here. System dot out dot println, I'm writing f. ठीक है, same way I'll just copy paste. I'll just change f, then c, then b, and then s. Okay, one character, one boolean, one integer, one float, one reference I've taken. ठीक है, and now when I'll run it, will it give all these variables default value? Yes or no? Because all these variables, are they initialized or not? Tell me, are they initialized? Are they initialized explicitly?
No.
No. So will they have garbage or will they have default value?
Default.
Because they come under which category? Static. And here I have already told you. Clear? Oh, I deleted that. Okay, I already told you if it is static or if it is instance, and if they are not explicitly initialized, they will have which value? Default value. Like for in this case only one more j is there with value 6. If there is one more k with value 4.5f, so they won't have default because you have given initial value. See here, if you are printing j also over here, getting, you are printing k also over here. So for them you'll get default or their initialized value. Whatever is initialized, that you'll get. Okay, see here, I'll give you the output. We'll just compile it. Okay, javac default value, java default value. Okay, see here, is it displaying I as 0? Is it giving the default value of I as 0? Are you observing, guys?
Yes, sir.
Clear? Simultaneously you can see here, I default value is 0. J, it won't take default because you have given 6. F default value is 0.0. K 4.5. C default value is \u. C is a character, no? So I gave its default value as \u 0000. But in character form, 0 is null value. Null means nothing. It will not display anything on the screen because it's a null value. Then B default value is false. And is S a reference variable? Is S a reference variable? And reference variable default value is null. Clear? Right? See here, I've shown you the table default value. For boolean it is false, for character it is \u, for byte short int long, accordingly if it is long 0l and all other 0. Floating point it is 0.0 or 0.0d, and for reference it is null. Correct? Okay. Now in this example, if I would have made this all as instance, then also will it have the default value? Getting or no? If it is instant, and this you got it, no? Like if I want to access it in some other class main, like if this class is over here and this is the class, another class in which main, in that can I access this IJKF directly, or what I have to write before this?
Class.
Name.
Class
Name. Complete thing you tell. Clear? Default value dot I. Default value dot J. Right? So that part is also clear to you. Now what I am asking you is that instead of static, if it is instance, I am removing this. Everything through practical demonstration, I am trying to explain all the concepts. Okay. Now all these are instance. Tell me, are they static now or are they instance?
Instance.
Because static word is removed, so obviously they are instance. Can I access them directly like this?
No, by creating object.
You have to create an object. Even you cannot write class name dot and access because they are not static, they are instance. So first I have to create an object of this default value class.
Yes.
Yes, clear? See here what I'll do. See carefully everything. If you are really attending, I'm sure you are hearing me properly. Okay, default value. Okay, default value dv. Suppose I'm giving the object name as dv. Only this much if I write. So is only a reference variable created? Is dv?
Reference, yes.
It's a reference variable. Yet reference has not come in it. Why reference has not come? Because you have not created an instance of this class by new operator. I told you now, without new, copy won't get created. Getting? But tell me, is this reference variable dv local to main?
Yes.
Yes. Clear? So where is this dv going to get space?
Stack.
Stack. But where are these all instance variables going to get space? Where they all will get space
Heap.
on heap.
Heap.
But when you will do this thing, see, in one line also you can do. There only you can write like this: new default value round bracket. Okay? So tell me, when this line executes, is this something like this going to happen? Okay. Here what will get created? One local variable dv, which is a reference variable. Huh? It is a reference variable because it's a class variable. No? Always remember, in Java, class variables are reference variable, and those which are not class variable, they are primitives. Okay, so this dv will be on the stack. Then you wrote new default value. So will it create a copy of this class? And when it is creating a copy, means will it allocate memory for all these instance variables? So here the memory is allocated for all the instance. It will allocate some 4 bytes for I, then it will allocate memory for J, getting? It will allocate memory for F, it will allocate memory for K, getting? It will allocate memory for C, it will allocate memory for B, that is for Boolean, and last it will allocate memory for that S also, which is also itself a reference, in which also reference is going to come. Clear? Like our key, our house key is in that neighbor's house, that way. Clear? So there is some other house and its key is here and this key is here. Getting? So now the memory is allocated for all these instance variable, but what will they have? Will they have their default values? Like I will have 0, F will have 0.0. Getting? This C will have \U00, that is null value. B will have false, S will have null, and this J and K will have what value you have given, like 10 or 4.5 or whatever. And the reference of this object will come in this DV. Will this thing happen when we
Yes.
do this line?
Yes.
Okay. Now can I access this IJK directly? No, no. You have to write that object name, no? Dot. DV dot. Object name dot. Why? Because they are which variables? Yes, guys.
Instance.
Instance. So they have to be accessed by their class object name only. Whatever object is there. Okay, I have accessed it. Now if I run this, you'll get some different output, or will it be the same one like previous program? Will it be the same one? Same output you'll get or no? The same output, because the default value is the same, no, for it. See here, again I am compiling, again I am running, only just to make the change. Here we'll just modify it, so that we'll come to know. Here we'll take it 10 and here I'll make it 5.5. Okay? See here, I'm compiling it, I'm running it. Can you see the default values? Okay? Hope this part is also clear to you people. Right or no? Give me confirmation.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now moving on to the local variable. So now we'll wind up with this discussion that instance variable, static variable, if not given initial value, they will not have any garbage value. They will have default value. And what are the default values that I have given here? Okay. Now coming to local variable, right? I'll change this and I'll create a new program. That I'll keep it aside. I'll give you local value dot Java. I'll create. Okay? Class local value. In that, our standard main I'll write public static void main string args. And now I'm creating some variable. See here, I and j. Then I'm writing I equal to j plus 10. And then I am printing the value of I. System.out.println I. Getting? Okay. Now this is an example, but some things I have not yet told you. I'm going to tell you now. Correct? Next thing what you have to remember, if local variables are uninitialized, if local variables are not given explicitly initial value, then they will remain, will they have any default value or will they be uninitialized?
Uninitialized.
Uninitialized. Uninitialized is as good as like garbage, but Java literature uses word uninitialized. So that point is clear. Is that point clear? Local variables, if are not given any explicit initial value, then they will remain uninitialized. Okay. Now the next point what I'm going to tell you is Java is a robust language. I hope you remember this in the feature, first or second lecture. Buzzwords of Java we have seen. Java is compiled and interpreted. Java is portable and platform independent. Java is object oriented. Java is robust and secure. You remember or no? I'm sure I've told you all these points. So in that, when we have discussed Java is robust and secure, so this is the point which I'm going to tell you is going to contribute in that robustness. Okay. So what Java says, if the variable is uninitialized, you cannot use it. Getting? Means Java says that the point where the variable is declared and the point where it is first used, and the where place it is declared, between that as many paths are reaching there, in that path the variable should have got initialized. The point where it is declared and the point where it is used for the first time, between that as many paths are reaching to that point, in that path the variable should have got initialized. And if it is not, Java is going to give you an error. And the error is variable, so and so variable name, okay, like this variable, whatever the variable name is, might not have been initialized. You understanding? It gives such error. Means this is the robustness feature. This says that you cannot use any variable if it is uninitialized. That is the speciality of Java. Clear? What Java says is no variable can be used without initialization. Now tell me, if the same thing, if you do it in C or C++, now C++ compilers also have become that much smart like Java compilers. If you use C99 standard later compilers, so those compilers are also that much robust like Java compilers. But initial C++ compilers, if you consider, so in that what used to happen, like if the same thing if I do, okay, will it take garbage? Means C++, will it give error? No. What it does is it takes j as a garbage value as it is uninitialized. Is it initialized? No, it is uninitialized. So what it will have? Garbage value because it is local. Okay, in C++ also locals will have garbage, and that garbage plus 10 is garbage only stored in I, and the result is garbage. You understanding? And the program runs fine. Java will not run only. What Java says is it will not use only any variable which is uninitialized. Now it actually doesn't give error for I. You understanding? Here you are using I. Here you are initializing I. So for I the problem doesn't come because it checks that from the point where it is declared and the point where it is used. You are using it here first time and you are declaring here. So between that point it is getting initialized. Therefore for I no problem. But tell me for J it is going to give error. Here it is declared and here it is initialized. Here it is used. Very sorry. It is used and it is declared. So from that point to this point, in between, is J getting initialized with any value?
No.
No. And as it is local, is it going to have a default value or is it uninitialized?
Uninitialized.
And Java, as it is a robust language, it will give you an error. It will say that variable J might not have been initialized. If you want, you can run and see this code, and these are all the things which may be not in your university exams. They may not be that much useful, but always remember, if you are planning for certifications, proper Java Sun certification, there these all points will be really helpful for you. Getting? Okay?
Yes, sir.
Coming back, we will compile this javac local variable. See, is it getting run or does it give you an error at the time of compilation only?
Error.
Getting? And can you see that error? Are all observing? As many of you are attending, please guys, are you observing? Okay, some 8-10 students are attending. So tell me, can you observe the output? What output you are seeing here? It is saying that J might not have been initialized. Why it is like that? Because I told you what I have told you in this diagram. The point where it is declared and the point where it is first used, where it is used and where it is declared. From that point to the use point, in between, as many paths are reaching, in that path, that variable must be initialized. And if it is not, it gives an error. In short, to conclude, does Java give error if you are using any uninitialized variable?
Yes.
Yes. Means Java doesn't allow you to use which type of variables?
Uninitialized.
Uninitialized variable. Okay? And that's the reason here error has come. Why it was not giving error for I? Because you know I is getting initialized now. Whatever answer is going to come, it's going to get initialized, and then you are using it. So declare and use, between that is I getting initialized? Yes. But declare and use, between that point J is not getting initialized, and therefore it gives an error. Hope this point is also clear to you guys. To explain this, one more example I am going to take. Just you will tell me what will be the output. This much part I'll put it in a comment, and I'm creating some other variables like I equal to 10 and then one more J, and I'm writing if I less than 20, J equal to 5, else if I less than 30, J equal to 6. and then I'm printing the value of j. Okay? Okay? Now I'm writing this simple example.
Hello.
Huh.
Output would be 5.
Output will be 5. Okay. What others say? And then I'll tell you my explanation. Okay? Huh. Others? Let's see, guys. Tell me. What do you think?
म्हणजे कशा विचारतो मोदक मिळतील
No? Not a single person? Yes, guys. No one has thought on it. I'm sure like Sanket thought like कि I is 10, 10 is less than 20, so J will be 5 and then that J will be printed here. Right, guys? What he thought, and nearly everyone might have thought the same way.
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yeah,
Nearly,
yes.
nearly like he has thought he answered it, others are not answering, but others also might have thought the same way that I is 10, 10 is less than 20, and true, therefore 5 will be copied in J, it will come here and it will print it. Getting? But actually, when you will run this, you will get the same error which you got here. Getting? If you run it, you'll get an output. Variable J might not have been initialized. Now some might be surprised.
Because it get jumbled because J is having two value, 5 and 6 both.
Both like, but I'm assigning this when it is this true, and I'm assigning this when this is true.
It
Getting?
is equal statement, na?
Okay, if else. I'm coming to it. Okay, I'll explain. Don't worry. I'll tell you why it happens like that. Why it gives the same error which you got here. First of all, remember in Java, are there two steps? First is compilation and second is interpretation. Means during interpretation, the execution is happening. So what you people did, you did the work of interpretation directly. Directly you started checking 10 less than 20. Yes, so 5 is copied in J and J is printed 5. But that steps are going to happen at the time of interpretation. Means it will check that really I is less than 20 or no. That checking will happen at which time? Interpretation time. But what compiler does is, compiler is not checking that 10 is less than 20 at the time of compilation. Understand, guys, what I'm telling? At the time of compilation, it is not checking whether I is less than 20. Because to check whether I is less than 20 is the job of the interpreter, not of the compiler. But what compiler does, it just puts both the value. Compiler just substitutes one true and one false. It is not actually checking whether I is less than 20. What compiler does is, it tries to put once true and once false. Getting? It's like, you can say non-determinism. It's called as non-determinism. In mathematics, you have studied that terminology. So once what it substitutes and see, false. Okay. So what compiler checks is if I put false and if I put false and I reach here, j will remain what?
Uninitialized.
Uninitialized. Okay, means what compiler is doing, it is checking all the possibilities. It is not checking the actual value of I. Here you have initialized, but maybe in between you might have accepted from the keyboard also, and you don't know what you're going to input from the keyboard. That will be decided at what time. Suppose this is not there. Runtime. Yes, exact word you used. Clear? I equal to 10 if it is not there. And instead, in between, I have written a logic to accept it from the keyboard. Okay. So what you are going to give from the keyboard, that is also not known. No? Yes or no? So what compiler does is compiler actually going to use value of I and check whether it is less than 20, or is compiler just going to substitute the possibilities? Is it going to put the possibilities here?
Yes.
Compiler put one possibility as true. So if one possibility true, j will initialize. But if one possibility is false, then it will come here. And here also, if it puts true, okay, initialize. But if false, then j will remain uninitialized. If this is false and if this is false, then when you reach here, what will be the value of j? Initialized or uninitialized?
Uninitialized.
Uninitialized. This examples, you will get it in certification books only, guys. Okay, normal your TechMax and Vision, I'm not doing a negative marketing of that. They are also helpful books at the time of exam, get it? Because they are created according to your syllabus, and at the time of exam they are also helpful. But if you want to become master, obviously you have to go with some good reference books. So even like Balaguru Swami or Complete Reference, in that also you will not get. These examples are always seen in the certification books like Keti Sierra or Khalid Mughal. These are very good books and very simple English. If you and you don't have to buy also those books, you get it as a PDF also on internet. If you Google it, you'll get it. If not, I'll share it with you people. Don't worry. So in that books you will get such example, and there they have given a proper explanation. They have told all that thing, that if false and if false, then here when you reach, j will be uninitialized. Getting? See here, I'm compiling the same code. Is it giving error to this system.out.println j? And is it giving the same error? Variable j might not have been initialized. So why it happened? Because compiler is actually checking whether I is less than 10. I is less than 10 will be checked at which time? Is really I less than 10 will be checked at what time? Tell me guys.
Interpretation.
At the time of interpretation, not now. Clear? Getting? Then now what is checked at the time of compilation? Only possibilities. Possibility. Getting? Which we do in real life. If this, then this. If not, then this. So it puts all the possibilities. So one possibility is true, but the other possibility is false. And here the other possibility is false. So when both the possibility false, j will remain uninitialized. Okay? Now tell me, if I make a small change in this code, I remove this condition. Okay, I'm removing that condition and I'm just putting else. Now will the error come at the time of compilation? Now if I'm compiling, will the error come? The error which was coming now, variable j might not have been initialized. Will that error come, or now it won't come? Getting? Don't type run and see. You apply your common sense and then tell me the knowledge which you have got till now.
It will check only once, no?
Which part? This part. Because this is else, no? Else
Yeah.
means directly it's going to come. Here there is no checking.
Yes,
Getting?
then it will be print 5 now. Now, yes.
Printing, that is at the time of running. I am asking at the time of compilation, is the compilation going to be successful? And
It will be successful.
why? Because if it puts here true, then also initialized, and if false, then also initialized, na?
Yes, both.
Because else, hai na? Else here checking is not done directly here. So if the compiler puts one possibility true, J will get some value, and another possibility false, then also J is going to get the value. Previously, what was happening here, also there was a condition, na?
Yes.
And therefore when both are false, J will not have any initial value. You understanding or no, guys?
Yes.
Correct? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
See here. Is it compiled?
Yes, successfully.
Yes. And now obviously output will be 5, because now the interpreter is going to check na, whether I is less than 10. I less than 10 checking will be done by the interpreter, and sorry, I less than 20. So 10 is less than 20. Yes, so J is 5. 5 is printed here. Correct? So what was my question? That is clear to you, right? So can anyone in crux means in short, conclude on all these discussion, what we did today? In short, can anyone tell me? In short, can anyone do the conclusion? In one line. Like, if it is, okay, if it is, or just tell me true or false, okay. So if it is a instance variable, if it is a static variable, and if they are not explicitly initialized, they will have default value. What do you say?
True.
True.
Correct? And if they are local variables, and if they are not explicitly initialized, they will remain uninitialized.
True.
Correct? And the third point, Java never allows you to use uninitialized variables. What do you say?
True.
Sure, no? Java never allows you to use uninitialized variables. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Correct? That's the robustness feature. See, that is only the robustness feature. Okay? It is not allowing you to use any variable which is uninitialized. Correct? Because if it is allowing to, it will take the garbage value and take garbage, and garbage will accumulate and give you bigger garbage. Getting or no? In garbage, if you add anything, are you going to produce anything? Garbage only. Correct? Depends on, like, if it is in farming and all, so they people from garbage, they produce some good compost thing, na? And they like as a fertilizer, and then they give it to the farm and all. So that is a different case. According to common sense programming, if you have a garbage value and you add in it, you are going to get a bigger garbage. It is also of no use. Okay, coming back, some more things like, okay, or let's go with some MCQs and then I'll come with more things. Just tell me, which of the following lines are valid declarations? Okay, I hope you remember this. And when we took all this thing, that time we had faced one problem. Do you remember? And then that problem I explained you in the next session. I was also facing with that problem. You remember or no? In the string I had used
Yes, that.
Unicode of a new line, only for new line. And that time I told you, okay, that before the compilation happens, is the compiler going to process all the Unicodes? Getting, no? It is going to process all the Unicodes. Okay? Okay, so tell me, is this valid to write char a equal to, and in single quote writing the Unicode, that is
Yes.
97, is legal. But variable name which you are writing, that either you write in Unicode or write the letter. You cannot write single quote like this. This side the value can be in single quote, but the name of the variable cannot be in single quote. Getting? Okay. But can the name of variable be in a Unicode form?
Yes.
Yes. Can I use a Unicode in my keyword? Yes, because it's going to get processed before compilation. So is compiler going to substitute here small a, here small a? Getting? Okay.
Yes.
And this way if you are using is not allowed.
Yes.
Okay. So in this, which one are valid then?
1, 3,
1, 3,
and 4.
4. Clear? 1 is valid, 3 is valid, and 4th is valid. Okay? I hope it is clear. Now tell me, given the following code within a method, which statement is true? Within a method. Means these two lines are written inside a method. Method means function only. Just remember, when you write functions inside a class, they are called as method. When you write functions inside a class, they are called as method. Okay, so these two lines I have written inside method. Local variable a is not declared. Is it right? No, it is declared. Local variable b is not declared. No, it is also declared. Local variable a is declared but not initialized. Do you agree with this point?
Yes.
Yes. Okay? Only this is true. It is declared but not initialized. Other are also true, means false, because here see, local variable b is declared but not, no, it is declared also and initialized.
Initialized also,
And last, b is initialized but not declared. You see it, both is happening. Clear? Then, in which of these variable declarations will the variable remain uninitialized unless explicitly initialized? Unless you give explicit value, they will remain uninitialized. Okay, so which one of this?
Third one.
Third one, she's saying declaration of a local variable of type float, right? Declaration of instance variable of type int. Instance variable, no? So it will have 0, 0. Static variable of float, so it will have 0.0f. Local variable of type float is uninitialized, if not given explicit value. So will it be initialized automatically? No, it will be uninitialized. This is again static and this is instance. So if it is instance and static, obviously it will get what? Default. It is static of type object, so it will have null. Instance of type int square, means it's an array, but array are also reference only. Arrays are not primitive, they are also reference. So this will also have null. Only this will be uninitialized. Agreed? Okay. And just
Yes.
quickly we will go through this skeleton. They are saying if you are creating any Java program, any Java file, okay, then all these three parts, part 1, part 2 and part 3 are optional. All are optional. See here, part 1 is already optional. Part 2 they are saying 0 or more. 0 or more means if this doesn't come, then also okay. And third part is also 0 or more. 0 or more. Clear? Okay. Now what main thing what I wanted to say, okay, this first part is the package statement. The second part is the import statement. Package statement, if it is there, only one package statement will come. Import can be many, and you can have any number of classes and interfaces. And in that maximum, how many classes can be public? Only one at most. And the one which is at most one, which is public, that name and the file name has to be same. Getting, guys? Clear? Now from this, what you can observe, if you have a package statement, if there is a package statement, then it should be the first statement. If there is a package statement, it has to be the first statement only. Don't worry, this is not any complicated thing. It is just a dot separated path. It is saying com is a folder. In that folder, there is a company subfolder. In company subfolder, there is project subfolder. In that, there is a fragile package subfolder. And in that folder, all these classes are stored. All these classes and this source file is stored in this folder. You understanding? Clear? And these statements are telling that you're using the classes of that folder. Java folder, subfolder IO. Java is a folder, IO is a subfolder, and all the classes of that are used here in your program. Same way, from util you are using everything in your program. Get it? Okay? And then below that you can have interfaces and classes, any number, but maximum one only can be public, and the one which is public, that name and the file name has to be same. Get it? Now you may have a doubt like when to use that package statement, when to use import. Always remember, when you want to distribute your work to others, getting? If you have created your work and now you want to give to others so that others can use it in their development, reusability you want to do. Like you have developed some useful things and that may be needed in someone else's project. Java says you cannot give it directly unless you put it in a package. We are going to learn how to create packages and all. There is a complete topic in your syllabus, creating packages and then importing your created packages, everything I'll tell you. Okay, so normally always remember whatever you have done, and that if you want to distribute to others, you have to put it in a package. What is a package? It is just a folder containing group of related classes and interfaces. Related classes and interfaces, when you group and keep it in one folder, that becomes a package. But you want to tell that this is a part of that package. So this is the first line which you have to write in that file. When you write this line in that file, it is informed that this file is a part of that package. And is it just a dot separated path? It's a path. Only that path they don't separate with a slash or backslash. It is dot separation mechanism. So com is one folder, company is a subfolder, project is still subfolder, and fragile package is a still subfolder. And inside that, this .java is there, and all the classes which will be created will also be in that folder. Getting? Okay, so first point you got it, that when you want to give to someone else, put your work in a package. And if you want someone else work to use in your program, means someone else has distributed it and now their work you want to use in your program, you have to use import. Getting? So do we use someone else or Sun provided also? Has Sun Microsystem also developed so many classes? Means they have developed more than 1,000 classes. Getting? For everything. If you want stack, you want queue, you want a linked list, you want set, you want tree, you want button, everything. For you want a frame, color, font, for everything what Sun has developed and kept classes. And Sun has given you all that classes in the form of packages. When you want to use their work in your program, you have to write import. Getting? And then your work. Correct? So is the skeleton clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Sure. So what you'll remember from this skeleton? From this skeleton, what you get to know that in every program, if there is a package statement, it has to be which statement? The very first statement. If there is a package statement, then it should be the first statement. Getting? Then after that, what statements can come? If there are, import. And after that, what can come? Your classes and interfaces. Okay? Is it clear to you? Right? Now these MCQs, we will take it in the next session. Okay? Little bit work I have. So hope this part is clear to you. So tell me, if I ask you, can import be the topmost statement?
Yes.
Yes.
When there is no package
When
statement.
there is no package statement. That's simple. It is clear. Sometimes the things are very simple, but we make it complicated. Correct? So that is the rule of life also. In real life also, we should not make everything complicated. Correct? So you know it. When there is no package statement, then who can be the topmost statement? Import. Correct? But can we change the sequence? Like I'm writing import and then package. First
No.
import and then pack. Not allowed.
No.
It won't work. Correct? Okay. Based on this also some MCQs, and then a very important topic we'll be starting with, that is operators. Okay? So operators, meantime we'll write some programs also, don't worry. Correct? Meantime what I'll do is I'll explain you, I'll explain means I'll just revise with all the control structures also which I've already studied in C, because the syntax is same. If else, switch case, for loop, while loop, they are exact same, and that is the reason in your syllabus they have not kept that topic only of your BCS course. No, they have not kept the topic only of operators, control structure. They have directly skipped it because they are assuming that it is studied in C, but there is little bit differences in outputs. So wherever it is, I'll tell you. Okay, so in one session we will just quickly recall with all if else, switch case, loops, all that syntaxes, and we'll write some programs also based on it.